everybody, welcome back to Project Happy Home. For those of you who are new here, I'm Tanya, doctor, lawyer turned homeschool mom of 3 kids ages 11, 8, and 6. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing how I have customized the homeschool lesson planning notebook by Megan over at Schoolnest. I'm doing this as part of a collaboration with my friend Lindsay over at Momma Schmooze Homeschool Reviews. If you haven't checked out Lindsay's channel, you definitely should. She and I became friends way back when we both started homeschooling, and we've become close friends since. We generally do a homeschool planner palooza. This year we didn't do one, but we are at least sharing our planners for next year. Now I have switched over to a calendar year for my homeschool, so we are going to be schooling from January through November. I won't actually start using this planner until January of next year, but you will see how I have set it up for that year. I'll also be bringing in little pieces of how I've planned this year because a lot of it will transfer over into this larger format. Now, this beautiful planner is designed by another one of my friends over on Instagram, Megan at Schoolnest. If you haven't followed Megan's channel, I definitely suggest that you do so because she shares a plethora of wonderful homeschool ideas and inspiration, especially if you are a non-traditional Charlotte Mason homeschooler where you incorporate different elements of classical tradition, traditional homeschooling, and Charlotte Mason homeschooling, as well as a lot of outdoorsy stuff. She's your girl. So check her out. All of their channel information will be linked in my description box down below. This planner, as you can see, is gorgeous. I have actually cut off the binding. When you initially receive this planner, it is bound and it has a binding that looks very similar to the cover, as well as the back cover, as you can see. So it just sort of continues around. I went to my local Staples and got this binding cut off and spiral bound. I really wish that copy shops would start to offer like a metal binding, but ours don't here. So I just have this flexible black binding. I told them to put on a binding that was slightly larger than what would be required for this in case I add in pages or sticky sheets, etc. Now I've already added in some sticky sheets and you can see what I mean as I go through. This is originally designed as a 12-month undated planner, and I have changed up some of the pages. If you want to see this planner in its unadulterated form, Arlene & Company on Instagram has a really nice flip through where she goes through exactly what it looked like when she received it. In this video, you're going to see what it looks like now that I've adjusted it to my tastes. This page and this page are both printable pages from Anna Vance Paper Co., and she had sold a printable homeschool planner on her Etsy shop, and I think I bought this 3 or 4 years ago. I just love this page. My dear, you have come here to learn to live. I love this daily schedule, and so I've reused them for several years now. I printed these out on sticker sheets and just stuck them onto the title page of this planner and the inside of the title cover. The way I use my daily schedule is I use Post-it notes and I put in different types of activities. For example, poetry tea time, outdoor walk, gymnastics class, taekwondo, math, science project, etc. And I move them around in the first few weeks of our homeschool year until I figure out a rhythm that works for us. And then even after I figure out a rhythm that works for us, I still only use it in a penciled in format because things change. You end up altering the course of your days as your kids get older, as different subjects get folded in. So I never like to put the daily schedule in as a hard and fast rule. It's more general. So for example, you can see work 1, work 2, read aloud, memory work, literature composition, where their piano classes might be, what days we would do a science lab versus a history project, nature study, a music loop, poetry and geography tea time loop. So I kind of loosely plan around that. When you turn the page, you have a list of exactly what the planner includes. I'm actually going to change this page, but I thought I would leave it for now to show you exactly what it includes. It includes an index, a year overview, curriculum overview, classes, field trips, book lists, curriculum progress trackers, attendance tracker, and then it has 12 months of repeating pages. I've actually left 1 month unaltered so that I can show you exactly what it looks like. But it includes a monthly brainstorm, an undated monthly calendar, and a monthly reflections page, and then 4 weeks per month, which each include weekly goals and notes, weekly schedule, weekly lesson plan, weekly reflections page, and 6 daily details columns per week. In the end, there are 2 pages of end of the year reflections. I'm actually going to replace this page with another printed sticker sheet of a calendar, and I'll show you what that looks like in my original planner for this year, my little bullet journal planner. So right here you can see that this is what my school year calendar looks like. I print this out straight off of my Mac, and I basically just put in the calendar year. So as I said, we had a January through November schedule this year, and I plan out loosely where I think our blocks off will be, which are generally every 6 weeks. We take a week off. That might not be the way the year shakes out, and I don't mind that it doesn't look this way, because the main purpose of doing a school year calendar in my mind is to get an idea of how many weeks of school we can fit in with an appropriate number of breaks. So if we end up taking vacation, for example, on the week of the 11th instead of the week of the 18th, I don't bother with clarifying that on this calendar. I might make a note in the monthly section, but here, this is just for me to get an overview of the year. Will it work out? Do I have enough school days according to my state, etc.? So that's how I do the school year plan. I'll do the same exact thing and print out a sticker sheet of it here and stick it in. I also try to break down exactly when the first day and last day of school will be and when our breaks will be, how many winter break weeks we'll have, how many terms we have, and how many days total we have. I try to plan for about 200 days. The reason is because I know we won't school for 200 days, but that way the days that we have sick days, the unexpected vacations, the unexpected visitors, all of that doesn't matter. So the very first index page I changed to be a password page. Now if you'll notice this label, it's just a printed sticker sheet. And the way I do it is I take an 8.5 by 11 Word document or Pages document, and I put in all the label words that I would like in a font I'd like. I print it out on an 8.5 by 11 sticker sheet, and then I just cut them to fit the size of wherever I need to stick something. You can, of course, just make labels if that's easier for you. This I find is really simple. You know, it doesn't cost me anything. I never have to worry about the correct size label or label program or anything like that. So you can just buy 8.5 by 11 sticker sheets, make a Word document, and print out whatever you want, and then cut it appropriately. You do not need a dedicated label maker to make labels. So this is the page I'm going to use for passwords. Now, if you'll notice at the bottom, I have this beautiful washi here, this Van Gogh washi. I was gifted a whole set of beautiful washi tape, as you can see in this picture, by the Washi Tape Shop. And I gotta say, it's some of the best washi tape I have ever received. So I'm gonna put out some of the washis that I used in this planner so that you can really appreciate just how beautiful they are. A lot of these, as you can see, were washi tapes in the Van Gogh collection, but some of them are fall collections, like this beautiful mushroom one. Here's another Van Gogh one that I used. Some of them have these watercolor, like lilies and berries for fall. They also sent me this adorable Halloween collection, which I did not use in this planner, but I will be using in my yearly planner later, so stay tuned for those. There's these beautiful black and white ones as well. But they sent me a gorgeous array, and I have used several of them in here. One of the things I like best about the washi that they sent me from the Van Gogh collection is that it's backed washi. So when you are cutting sections of it and stuff, this is not sticky. It doesn't stick to itself. Sometimes when you buy cheaper washi, you'll have it tear off from the backing, and it'll tear off some of your picture of the tape underneath, and that's unfortunate. So this is really easy to work with. Some of them that they sent are more traditional, and they don't have the backing, but even then, the quality is so high, it's so easy to pull off and re-stick, and I've just been really, really pleased with the quality of these washi. So stay tuned for all my planner videos for the year, because these will keep making reappearances. All right, so this was the passwords page, and then as you go on, I have a homeschool connections page where I'm just going to put down all the different addresses and numbers of people that we write to and people that we call for playdates, etc. Here we have a snail mail page. We like to do Mail Mondays, so we like to write to someone once a week, and I just record it per month. So I think this was originally the year overview page, but I don't generally use a year overview. I'm not a unit study homeschooler or anything. We just sort of follow our curriculum throughout. There is an attendance page here. I stuck in a little sticker that says the days are long, but the years are short underneath, and some flower stickers as well. I'm going to use this in an interesting way. I'm going to use this calendar here to track our days in school that are in our home. And I'm going to use this one to track our days of schooling that are outside the home. So for example, if we have a nature study class or an art class outdoors or something, I will track that just to get an idea of how many days we're actually interacting with other people in this very interesting COVID time. So here we have the curriculum overview pages. That's what they originally said. I just printed out labels for different subject areas. So I have mathematics, language arts, composition, history and geography, science. And I would have kept the washi the same the entire time, but I ran out of this washi right then. I put in my children's names and one column for together because in general, we do have things that we do together for almost any subject area. So for example, for language arts, we do Mad Libs together. For composition, we might do free writes together. For history and geography, we do universal yums boxes together. So I like having that as a column. For the classes page, I left it as is, and I'm going to use this for our extracurriculars. The field trips page, again, I left as is, and I'm just going to put in our field trips that we do every month. The book list page, again, is original to the planner, and I believe there are 4 pages like this, 4 layouts. I have not decided exactly how I'm going to use these book list pages, but what I may do is create a list for each child and maybe create new labels just to put their name on the page and print out on sticker paper the actual covers of the books they read, just so I can have a little bit of color in here. And so if they read, for example, Charlotte's Web, I'll print out an actual sticker of Charlotte's Web's cover and paste it in. So that would be one for each student and then one for our together books that we read. And I think that would be a fun little layout there. The way I plan is both forward and reverse. I will be using this planner as more of a reverse planner, meaning it is a memory book. It is a way for me to keep track of what we were doing in general as an overview, as a big picture kind of impression. If you haven't watched any videos of my planner from this year, you can kind of see that as we go through. So when I record what we're doing, I record what we're watching, what we're playing, what we're reading, what we're listening to, what composers and poets and artists we're studying, how our calendar has looked, and also within each subject, what everybody is studying in general. So for example, I don't actually write down what pages anyone is working on. I'll write down instead time-lapse and multiplication tables, Polar Express, what weeks of IW they're on, America's growth and changes, distance words, organelles, invincible microbe, weather and climate, quarters and time. So I like to put in general the idea of what's going on when we took vacation and things like that. But I have really enjoyed record keeping in this way, and this is what I intend to do going forward as well. This is my planner piece and my happy place for homeschool planning. For the curriculum progress pages, this is how they come, and I believe she has 6 of them. And so you have space for 18 different curricula. So if you're doing shared curricula or if you divide them among your children, you can use them that way. I actually used a lot more curriculum progress pages when I was planning out my kids' curriculum this year, if you can see. Every child had several pages of curriculum. I would stick in things like the scope and sequence of different curricula, and I just did it in a grid format, very much like this, but instead of separating it out by 180 lessons or 180 days of school, I would separate some by weeks, some by number of pages, some by actual lessons. And I plan on doing that again. So I haven't decided how I'm going to use these curriculum progress pages. I may use them to track things that we do as opposed to actual curricula. So did we do math this many days for this student, and language arts and writing, etc. So it might be for the 3 R's. I haven't decided, but I will probably print out my own graph paper pages for our curriculum progress again and paste them in within this section because this section I have left unaltered, and I'm going to cover all the pages with things that I need for my planner, like the curriculum progress pages, like other activity pages that I want to remember to do, calendars that I want to have, etc. The reason I took an entire month off is because I know that we won't school for 12 months. We're not year-round homeschoolers in the sense that we school a little bit every single month. We generally do take quite a bit of time off, and it's at least a month that we take off. So this entire month, which is quite a few pages as you can see, will be my place to stick in my custom pages. I wanted to show you though also unaltered so that you can see whether a planner like this will work for you. So you have this month of overview page. You have another month of blank grid page that you can do what you want with. You have week 1, weekly goals and notes. Every single month is split into weeks 1 through 4. However, I have actually split my weeks into weeks 1 through, I'm not exactly sure where I ended up, but I think it's through 40. But here's week 36, as you can see. So I printed out little label stickers, and they each have a different week now running through. If you get it unaltered, the month runs from week 1 through 4 and repeats exactly the same way throughout the planner. I plan on using the weekly goals and notes sheets in my planner for what I need to remember is happening that week, what I need to buy, things I might need for projects or labs, etc., people I need to call, etc. It's my teacher planning page, you know. Then there's a weekly reflections page, a schedule, and then the weekly plan. And as you can see, the weekly plan is not labeled anywhere. So you have 6 columns and you have 7 rows, and you can decide exactly how to use those. So if you wanted, you could do all 7 days of the week here and different subject areas up here. You could do 5 days of the week and then a weekend column here and then different subject areas here. You can do it any way you want. I've done a quite curious thing, and I will show you that in a little bit. Then you have 3 pages with 6 columns total of daily details. I'm not sure if you can see on this video, but all of these pages have this dot grid. It's quite a large dot grid, so it's not a problem to write in. I think no matter what style writing you have or what size writing. Here you have week 2, and as you can see, it repeats in exactly the same way. You have the goals, notes, the reflections, schedule, the weekly plan, and then the daily details pages, and repeat again for week 3 and week 4, and then when you get to the end of week 4, you have an end of the month reflections page. Now I'm going to show you how I plan to use it for us. I've gone through each of these months, and I've put in these little number stickers to date the months appropriately. So as you can see on my washi, it's pretty easy to find each of the months. I'll show you the themes that I picked are sort of seasonally related. So you have November here, you have October, September, August, July. I thought these flowers looked a little bit like fireworks. June with sunflowers, May, April with water lilies, March, February with some big pink roses for Valentine's. But basically you have a calendar, and you can use this calendar however you like. You don't have to put in sticker numbers as I did. You could very easily just write them in. I put in monthly labels, as you can see, and I just put in a couple of stickers. I do plan to sticker as we go along on calendar pages just to keep it fun. And I just write down what we do, like if we have a play date, if we have a class somewhere, if we go on vacation, if anyone visits us, anything like that I put on here. Things that basically I would want to remember from our homeschool year this year. If you notice here, I have a little flag that says Squilt and Nature, and that is because we use 2 different monthly programs on a regular basis that really do work in our homeschool. So if you can see from my Bujo this year, I always put in the Squilt calendar, and we like to listen to one of their musical pieces every single day. And then I also put in our wonder-filled days nature calendars. I will continue to print those out in a smaller format and stick them both on this facing blank page for every month. When you flip the page, you can see that washi continues, and I plan on using this blank month of January page to plop in some sticker photos as a little memory book of that month. So Instagram pictures that I might have taken, pictures from any of our adventures. Again, like I said, I'm going to use the weekly goals and notes page for my teacher to-do list. What do I need? What do I need to buy, etc. The weekly reflections page I am going to use for exactly the purpose it says. I'm going to reflect on where are my kids right now? What have they been doing? Was there anything funny that they said? Has anyone's reading progressed? Has anyone having trouble in math in a particular area? And just a little weekly reflection on what went right, what didn't go right, what might I change up, how was I feeling? A little, reflection on like, where are we going with our homeschool, and are we at where we need to be, etc. So this is my page for all of that brain dump. Here we have a schedule page. Now I will just use this in a very bare format. I do not plan on writing in exactly what kind of studies we're doing or anything. I'm just going to write in, on Monday we have Taekwondo, on Tuesday we have Taekwondo, on Tuesday we have an art class at 11, we have a Zoom call with grandparents at 1, something like that. It will not be an excessively detailed schedule, but she has provided a very detailed format so that if you want to do that, you really can. When you turn to the weekly plan page, instead of using this as a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday thing, or a subject-oriented layout, I have decided to use it as a vision or memory record of the extras that we do. So what poetry did we read that week? What art projects or crafts projects did we do? How did we approach music or interact with music that week? What podcasts did we listen to? What shows did we watch? What games did we play? Now, I am not limiting this to just our curricular activities. So, for example, we might do an art class and that would get a square. But if we make paper craft dinosaurs on the side, I'm going to write that in, that we did that as well. If we make art cards and send them off to someone in the hospital, I will write that down. If we listen to a poetry podcast, I will put that in the poetry column and the podcast column. If we listen to Robert Frost or Emily Dickinson, they'll all get their own square. Podcasts and shows will include educational ones as well as just fun ones. And shows, same thing. I might make a note of, so-and-so is obsessed with this particular show on YouTube this week. And the reason for that is because, education is a life. It is our atmosphere, right? It is what we do all the time as homeschoolers. Whether it's written down in a curricula or not, whether we planned for it or not, it is still happening. And I really fundamentally believe that. So for music, if somebody gets interested in some artist and starts telling me about it, I want to write that down. I want to remember that. And that's why I think it's worthwhile to have all of these different rows. I've left the last row blank just to write in any notes that I might have about, where this is going or how poetry's been going or how art study's going. So the daily details page is something that I also ruminated on for a while, but basically I'm going to use them not so much as daily details as weekly details. So instead of, for example, using this as a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and weekend section, I am just going to use the spread as what has my eldest been working on for the week, my middle child, and my youngest. What have we been working on together? And I thought about putting in math, language arts, history, etc. But then I thought, I actually like it kind of open-ended. I like being able to have a flexible way of recording what we're doing. So for example, like this week, this is more of what I imagine it might look like, where I just put in math and we put in what we're talking about, like volume, polygons, circles, the compass, fractions, language arts, the poetry of Robert Frost, alliteration, assonance, euphony, cacophony, etc. And this last page, I have not decided what to do with yet. It might just be for weekly pictures, little drawings that someone makes for me. I might just paste one in. This is a combination of reverse planning and like memory smash book for me, which is how I've been using my Bujo this year as well. So as you can tell, I've set it up for the entire year. The reason I've done this is because this is very similar to how I've recorded what we've done this year, and it has really worked for me. I've resonated with this method. If you are starting out with a new homeschool planner, I really advise you to not do this. Just set yourself up for that 1 month and see how it goes and if you're feeling that layout. Because I feel like sometimes people switch planners when really what they needed to switch was their layout. Instead of the actual planner itself, it's the way they forward plan for the entire year that doesn't work out. So just set up yourself for 1 month, see if you like organizing it in whatever way you've chosen, and then set up the next month and so on and so forth. I've actually just really resonated with this form of smash book kind of record keeping. So I'm really happy to have the extra room in Megan's planner so that I can record my photos. So as you can tell, this just continues straight on. I have decorated the bottoms of the weekly reflection pages and the end of the month reflection page with the corresponding monthly washi, just to give it a little pop of color and to make it pretty. And I also really like how the margin ends up looking when you do that. The last month for me will be the month of November. Now I have left it such that I set up the calendar and I have a couple of weeks left here, but I haven't given them numbers, as you can see, because I think week 40 is right before that, which should be enough weeks of school for us. But I plan to use these as my extra pages to stick things in. Now you can see here I've already stuck something in, and what it is are standards. Now these are just Common Core standards. These are actually available for free. I will link it down below if I can find the link. I've had this for a while. You can get them on Teachers Pay Teachers, but she offers grades 1 through 5 for free on one page. So you have grade 1 language arts, grade 1 math. I put in grade 2 math because my youngest is a little bit, she's done with grade 1 math, but I just thought, since she's still in grade 1 officially, I would just have the math ones in there anyway. And then we have grade 3 for language arts and math. And then I couldn't find 6th grade language arts in the same format, so I found it from someone else. And then 6th grade math as well. And I just like having it all on one page. I don't go by standards exactly, but I like seeing them so that I can kind of glance over them, make sure that we're kind of on the right page with whatever curriculum I've chosen, and it just makes me feel better. Once you turn that page, the very last 2 pages of the planner are the end of the year wrap-up. Now, this is exactly how it came in the planner. She gives you 2 pages, so you could use one for one child and one for another. I might use one for the children and one for the format of our homeschool and for me. So I might split this up into 3 rows and just talk about, what kinds of things worked for everyone. This might be from their perspective and this might be from my perspective. And I think I will figure that out as the year goes on. But I love the thought that Megan has put into this planner. I love the fact that it has an abundance of pages. Now, again, if you don't need all of these pages, this is such an open-ended planner that you could easily take some out. So let's say you have no reason to do daily details pages and you really just want this page. You could easily just remove those pages. And there you go. You're into your next daily or weekly schedule page. So when you cut the binding off, you get a lot of freedom with what you end up doing. I actually considered adding more pages to this planner, but then I realized that would just be overkill. So I'm really happy with it. I look forward to setting it up to be very similar to my little homeschool bujo, particularly when it comes to these pages at the end. So that I can just continue to keep a nice little record of what we're doing in the same way that I started out. And you can even see here how some of my formatting changed throughout the year. If you can see, this is the smash book part where I put in little records of not only the curriculum that we're using and the books that we're reading and our homeschool schedule, are the individual curriculum that everybody has used for the year, our little stickers from Universal Yums or from our Lowe's building projects. These are all the pages that I plan on printing out and pasting into that first month area. So I think this will work out beautifully and give me extra room to put in pictures and just really make it a memory book for us. So I'm excited to use it, and I'm grateful that Megan created it. So if you haven't checked out her account on Instagram, remember to look in my description box down below, and definitely check out Lindsay's video. She has such beautiful ideas for homeschool planning, and I love doing Planner Palooza with her. I hope to do it again next year with her. But for now, thank you so much for joining me. I know your time is valuable, and I really do appreciate it. And I wish you guys the very best day and the very best year ahead.